hello everyone, thank you so much. I will be speaking in English because it's easier for me, but feel sure, whatever I prefer. Even be talking. Help you. Quick introduction about myself, then we're gonna talking about having the product. And what learn from your competitor. And at the end, I'm gonna show a small case study to see what ideal successful market research should look like. Before starting, I need you. No, sorry. I will present myself. Small product management consulting and coaching firm with the goal to help all indie studio like you to create their game. I'm also teaching in a product management school at All Women. I'm ambassador for Women in Game, and I also a huge gamer. Any portal funny? Great. So before starting, this is what today's talk's gonna look like if you don't interact with me. I'm gonna just sound like a really crazy person talking all about myself, so please interact, ask questions, and we're gonna have fun. So first of all, what does it mean having a product mindset? It's all start by having to change what you think of your creating your game. It's mean moving your focus from creating a game as a artistic expression or something that you just personally enjoy, to look at your game as a product-centric thing where you consciously consider the marketability of your game. What does it mean? It means that you don't have to stop creating your game because it looks good or because you enjoy creating it, but it means while you are creating it, you also have to consider where the game is going to end up. Because we are all... Okay. Prueba. Okay, should I...
Probamos a... ¿Lo tienes en la mano?
Sí. Oh.
Porque no tienes... Ah, sí.
Sí, tengo.
Ok. A ver si no, te doy el de mano, ¿vale?
Okay. Now it's better. Do you want me? Yes. Yes. So thank you everyone for being here today, and we will be talking about the importance of consider your game a product and how to transform your game in a successful product and all the different things you can learn from conducting a successful market research. Today we're going to talk about, I will be presenting myself really, then moving to the importance of having a product mindset and how to consider your game a full product, so looking at all the business aspect of it, other target audience, and all the things connected to how you can market it. Then I'm going to discuss about the importance of doing market research and what you can learn from your competitors. And at the end, I'm going to present a small case study showing what ideally a good market research should look like. Hello everyone, I'm Elisa. In 2021, I founded the product Omega, a product management consulting and coaching firm with the goal to support a game designer to create their game and support them with all the different product inside I could bring from my experience. I'm also teaching at a women's school, a product management bootcamp. I'm an ambassador at Women in Game.
Sorry.
Still?
Sorry. Es que va bien.
Okay. Yeah. No? Can you hear me now? Okay, thank you. And as I mentioned before, I'm also a huge gamer. I saw you some Portal Fun before, so really nice to have you here. Before starting, I will need your help during this workshop. Please take out your pen and paper, your phone, because you're going to need it as well. Otherwise, this is what this talk going to look like. I'm just going to be like a crazy person talking about doing market research. People who know me know that's what's going to happen. So please help with me and let's have some fun. So what does it mean having a product mindset? It's all about changing your perspective and how you approach the creation of your game. It means considering your game not only for the artistic expression and personal enjoyment you can have from the game itself, but also seeing it as a product-centric, where everything is about their user and how you can perfectly market it around everything your target audience want, and also about what's already out there. This doesn't mean that you should not create a game where its focus is just, for example, the artistic style you decide to use, or because you really enjoy creating it. What it means is that you actually have to align all your creative endeavors with the market demands. And how to do it is actually, it's all start with the why. So when you start creating your game, you're gonna know why you're creating it. But it's all about the value your game is gonna bring to the user. So why the user are choosing your game? Right now, every day, I guess, at least 10 games got released. So we have tons of game all around. So why me or whoever in this room will be a user should choose your game? Why I should want to play your game? It can be anything, but you have to believe it, and that's gonna be the value you're bringing your player to play. That's gonna be the reason someone chooses to not watch 2 hours of Netflix, but choose to play your game. And when you know why and what value you're bringing to the player, then the game is almost done. Yes, you will need to do some more thing around it, but you have the final reason someone will play your game, and that will help you create a campaign where you can distinguish yourself from what's already be there and have a successful brand and identity. As I mentioned, it's all about your identity, and the value you will bring to the user will also help you create all different game mechanics, art style, and narrative elements that's gonna meet the preference of your target audience. That doesn't mean that you have to create a game based on only market research. You can do it, could be successful, could not, that depends. However, it means that whatever choice you take for your game, for example, I want to do pixel art. If I do a game in pixel art and pixel art is gonna be the value I bring to my user, I need to know what's around me. Whoever has done pixel art game, what they do, how can I make myself different? How can I differentiate myself from there to make myself successful? So now it's where you come in, and if anyone wants to share and think about what's the value of your game. I guess you're all here with different game ideas. So any of you want to share their game value? Please don't be shy. Okay. Anyone? Portal game lover? Support?
Can you repeat the question, because I was taking something?
Yes. So my question is, what the value of the game you're creating or you've been thinking of create? The first question you always have to ask yourself, what the value? Why should I play it? Now you have to answer. I'm sorry. I'm putting you on a spot. It's not nice.
I don't know, because I guess that I'm doing the game because it's fun, so we are going to have fun. I guess I don't have any more value.
But why do you think for me it's going to be fun? What elements are fun in it?
I don't know, because it's fun for me, so I'm another player too.
Yes. But you will buy your game. But how many other people are there similar, identical to you, that's going to buy your game as well? Okay, that's why this work is so important then. So ideally, if any of you has any, try to think of where's the value of your game. Could be anything, like, as you mentioned, it's going to be fun, I'm going to have an amazing new mechanic, or the art is going to be super immersive. It can be everything. But please start to think since now, since you're watching this workshop, what is the value of your game? You have to think of what's going to make your game unique. It can be something that someone has already done, but where's the twist in it? Why is it better than the others? Someone want to share some why? I keep asking. Okay. Then let's move on how to do market research and what you can learn from your competitors. Why is it important doing market research? It's all about looking around what's already been done in the industry, and what do they help is help you identify strength, weaknesses, opportunity, both for your game and also for other game. This is all about gaining insight in your competitor strategies, market tactics, and target audience. These allow you to identify gap in the market and be able then to differentiate your game and your brand. It's all about knowing your enemies, and now I will be showing you the different steps to do a competitor research, at least how I've been doing for the past years. First of all, we have to identify our competitors. We need to know which market are we gonna end up. So it's gonna be a free-to-play game, it's gonna be a multi-platform, something similar like as a Metroid type of game, it's gonna be a party game. Where's the market is gonna set in? All around we have different platforms you can use. One, for example, is VG Insight that allow you to have a clear overview of all different Steam games data. You can see, for example, when the game was released, how much was the price, what's supposed to be the revenue. So that's allow you to understand what games similar to yours have done before and what you could ideally reach with a similar number of audience. Another place you can also use is Steam for, like, that's why if you know even if you want to try already now, you can just go search for the tags of the game you're thinking of creating and look of what's already outside, what's already there. Other than Steam, also interesting is to look, for example, at companies that already create games similar to yours. So go through what already been published by them. Look how they've done it. And this is all different example of where you can find all this information about your competitors. As well, I have identified a specific game, and then always in the same Steam page, you can also look at more games from the same team, or also more games similar to that one. All of these allow you to help you identify all the different competitors that's going to be down outside in the world. If you want now, you can take 2 minutes, some time, to list in your competitors, or ideally we are doing this together. So try to search for the game genres, tag, and feature on Steam. I'm gonna let you do it now. Yes.
¿Puedo preguntarte algo?
Sí, totalmente.
Si, por ejemplo, tú como estás desarrollando un juego indie que es muy pequeñito,
Sí.
imagínate que estás desarrollando un juego tipo Clash Royale, ¿no?
Sí.
¿Puedes poner realmente como competidor a Clash Royale? Porque obviamente él no va a llegar a su nivel como para poder competir con él.
Pero lo que te decía, político llega a ser mercado.
Yes, they're gonna have a way bigger market share than yours. However, you are still able to, if you understand what they are doing and how they are doing it, you can learn from them. And at that point, you can try to reach maybe a smaller audience. But when you create a game similar to, repeat the game name, sorry? Okay, let's say you create a game similar to Clash Royale. It's not going to be a copy of Clash Royale, because if you just want to create a copy, then probably, yes, it's going to be more difficult to actually stand outside in the crowd. But if you create a game similar to Clash Royale, but with something unique in it, and then you're going to do your entire marketing campaign, when you're going to create the page on Steam, all the process you're going to do to target your game, at that point, user will know that, yes, this is a similar game to something I already play and I really like, so maybe I'm going to play it, because it's bringing me something new from what is already out there. That's why it's important to know the reason behind users who play. For example, yes, my game is similar to Clash Royale, but I'm going to add a new type of mechanic that's going to still the similar game, but the new thing I'm bringing to you is this new mechanic you haven't tried before, and I'm sure you're going to have fun with it. Thank you. So, anyone want to share some competitors you have found? Or maybe not? I take it as a no. Yes?
We were thinking some brainstorming about Royale, where different people design their character with different abilities and then use it in a battle royale. I was looking for indie battle royales, and there are very few. Shepherd, for example, Hornet, Nightfall, and no indie ones, Apex Legends, the finals, and more important like Call of Duty Modern Warfare.
Okay, that's great. Take your list with you. Like, I will say, ideally, there's never, sadly, a stop of how market research you should do. But let's say 3 to 5 is a good starting point, because when you're going to keep deeping into it, you will understand that most of game have some similarities. And at that point, when you see some similarities, you can either choose, okay, I'm going to follow the crowd and start doing something similar, or I'm going to choose to do something completely different. Anyone else want to share? Yes.
We are Metroidvania type game. So the thing that we want to be differentiated is the narrative. That we want to segment it into a game, book, and a comic to share different parts of the story. So the similar game we found were like Blasphemous 2, that is a D&D Metroidvania game. Grind, Last Faith, that are upcoming Metroidvania games also indie. Fist, one that is right here is the Eden's Garden.
Okay, great. Keep that list, and while we move on, you can add other element to it. Anyone else want to share? Okay, thank you all for who has shared. Now, as you know who they are, you have identified them, you can start analyzing their game, how they price themselves, where they position themselves, and where are their distribution channels. Again, you have to look at their website. You can look at their Steam page. You have to just go crazy deep in Steam and just look at everything. Analyze where you can find them. Do they have a website? Where I can find them on other platforms? Is only Steam? Is console? Whatever you can see. You can find them on the Epic Store. Look at how the price look like. Then you also ideally have to play it. If you have time, if you don't, look at their gameplay. Try to understand what elements stand out for the game, and also try already to see who's playing it. For example, this another quick example. So we start looking at the main page. These also allow us to see how they communicate, see how it's positioned, if it's positive, negative, and also have more information about the team. From there, if we go to their developer side, we can look better on how they even communicate to their website, on how many platforms are they. You can already see what different genre they are, who are the developers, and also the social media. At this point, another interesting place you can look at is PC Gaming Wiki. Is more about all the different things the way the game has, but at this point you can see, for example, if the game has is single player or is provide multi-platform, or all this information that will allow you to know, okay, all of my competitors are actually, none of them are all multiplayer, but none of them is a co-op. Then that can be what define yourself different from all of them outside. Then also Steam Spy is an interesting place you can start looking for information, both screenshot, and they also provide price, historical chart with revenues, reviews, follow, and that allow you to better understand, for example, how they have been running their sales and how they present their game to the audience, to understand, also to see how frequent do they put their game on sale, with how frequency do they put their game on sale, and at what percentage do they doing sale. Because when you know all of these of all your competitors, you can kind of have already a plan for your own. You can choose to follow, to change something, but that's all this information are going to allow you to know when you present your game to a publisher, or you can already have a plan. Okay, I'm going to launch my game at 10% sale. Then after 2 weeks, I'm going to do another sale, so you already can present them with an ideal revenue that your game going to make, because you already know from all the competitors you have analyzed, you see how much they are pricing it, how many players usually play it, and all of different information and general estimate revenue. Sadly, is not public, so we can never fully know, but we can try to understand it. Another, as I will mention, VG Insight is also provides Steam Analytics, where you have multiple tags to filter the game and allow you to understand what even is the average price point of a, for example, free-to-play game or a Metroidvania game, and that also allows you to understand at what price point you can present your game. To see, for example, if you're going to create a game that's going to be played mostly by 14 years old, ideally, marketing this game at 50 euros is not going to work, because they don't have a job. They're probably going to ask their parents for money. So if you share this game for, let's say, 15 euros, ideally, you're going to have way more people playing your game because they can afford it. And that's all thing you can understand by doing marketing research. I don't know if anyone you want to take some time now to try to understand the price of the game you've seen, or ideally take some time and look at it now. You can, I have a slide with all this information and link of different tools you can use, so you can take a picture later to save them all. Yes. Yes. Again, play the game. Look at all the economy they have in the game. Because ideally, when you're going to pitch your game to a publisher, they're going to want to know how they're going to make revenue out of your game. You can either choose to, ideally, it's going to mostly be in a purchase type of economy in the game, but when you present to them, like, free-to-play game is a bit even more, I would say, probably not difficult, but you can have long revenue for a longer period, because it's all about the transaction players are going to make in the game. So you have to ideally the best is to present yourself to the publisher with clear idea of how your economy will look like. Yes, you have to have the game to have a demo or something to show them, but then also you have to present how you're going to make money out of that game. And it's not something that just like one day you wake up and say, oh, I'm going to do this. You can do it, like really good for you if you're able to do it, but ideally by looking at other what other company are doing with their game, allow you to understand also what market price you can propose. Like instead of, I guess Clash Royale, the lowest price point is €1 or something. So ideally, try to understand how much they are giving for the coin, for the euro is spending, and that allows you to also create then an economy around it. Any other question? Yes.
What do you think about selling a video game by chapters?
I mean, everything is possible. Like, there's no wrong answer. It's just about understanding more what's already out there and how you can fully market it and present it. So it's more about going to the publisher, having a clear idea of, okay, I'm going to do 12 chapters, each chapter going to cost X, Y, Z euros. So I base on all seeing other game divided by chapter that, for example, retention for each chapter is 20%. So based on that, I can assume my total revenue by selling from chapter is going to be this amount. So there is not it's not complete science, it's more assuming that's going to happen to you. Because sadly, we don't know until we do it. However, you can create a situation where you're comfortable of saying that with a mistake here, like percentage of between 10 to 20%, you're ideally going to make, let's say, 30K out of the first 3 chapters. Then, as seen how the market goes and chapter got reduced in price and less people play it, you're going to have just 20K out of the other 2. But something like that, presenting them that you have already a plan to how your game is gonna go. Of course, it can be completely wrong, but think about the worst case scenario. Because when you're presenting a game to someone to ask money for creating it, they want to know how much they're going to cost it and how much they're going to make out of it. So if you already know all of this because you already look at what's around it, you're going to have answer, you're going to look really prepared, and it's going to look like you know what you're doing. You know where you are and you know which market are you in. No worries. Now we know all about their game, we played it, we understand their pricing, their economy. We are going to now look at their online presence, social media engagement, and customer review. Again, we look at their website. We start looking at Steam community, Discord, and all the social channels they have. In this phase, we want to understand how they communicate to the player. What frequency do they communicate with the player, and what tone of voice? Do they respond to the comment players leave on Reddit, on Discord, or it's more just leave the Discord out there, never care about it after they launch it? All of this is gonna, again, allow you to understand and identify different things you can even try for your own game. Again, a Steam page about this game page already help you to understand the tone of voice a game has. Also, all the Steam community page allow you to see on which frequency they communicate to the user. Are they only communicating sale, or also are they sharing, for example, some update or some inside of new DLC they're creating? All of these can help you then create your own marketing campaign post-launch the game, and knowing, again, you're going to pitch your game, present, I want to do all of this because I see it was successful for CBD game. Then you ideally show that you know what you're going to be doing with your game. You have a clear plan, you know how your game ideally is going to interact with the market, and that's going to be a huge help instead of not knowing and have to figure it out after you actually launch your game. Then, again, this is an example of the Overcooked Discord channel. So how did they communicate? Do they respond? And so on. All the places I've been listing are, almost everyone is free. So you don't have to pay anything, as I know, like resources as an indie studio are not always there. But even just like spending sometimes maybe hours on the Steam page and try to understand all the different elements that our competitor does can really help us. Any question on this? Okay. Then after you have understand how they communicate, you're gonna then summarize ideally their strength, weakness, and unique selling proposition. In this case, again, play it. If you don't have time, watch some gameplay out of it. Identify again all the elements that stand out. What even elements are actually ugly for you, like what you don't like about them. And also try to understand why users are playing it. At this point, it's all about, again, Discord channel to understand what feedback the users are giving. This is a really important point because we will allow you to see all the pain point user, all the things that users don't like about your competitor's game, and that's where you can actually bring something new. Because yes, maybe their game is perfect, but there's that specific thing that everyone complains about. So that could be the sweet spot where your game gonna be, if you're gonna do something that's really similar to something, to, let's say, Overcooked. Again, when you look at Steam page, don't focus only on the positive, always look at the negative and try, yes. Sadly, customer review always have to be taken carefully, especially when they're going to leave them about your game. It's a pain. It's going to be a pain. But not everyone thinks the same. Let's say not everyone is going to put a review about your game, but try to understand why they're putting it. Try to understand how, and also see how the developer are responding. Do they have a marketing team responding to the game, to all the review player leaving or not? Also, in this case, spy chart is another interesting place to understand better like the player engagement. It allows you to see all different average number of players and how changing month. So you ideally, now you know when they launch a sale, so ideally you can compare data to see, okay, they had the sales by the end of October, so that's maybe the reason why in November they have so many new users. And that all allow you to see and plan the same for your game. And at this point, as you have a clear idea what's already up and out there, you can actually compare the result you had and ask yourself, are things going well? Yes, the number look pretty similar. Or if you start seeing really crazy thing, maybe something bad happened to your game. Let's say you patched your game, you did a small release for changing some element, and then something went bad. That's allow you to see also if the less players are playing it. Yes? Yes, this is Steam Spy. Or Spy Chart, I haven't put it, sorry. But it's gonna be, you have it later.
This is Spy Chart.
Thank you. Yes. Any other question? Okay. Now you ideally know everything about who's there out there. And now you can also think of all the opportunities you're going to bring, all the differentiation your game is going to have, and also all the improvement you see from the previous competitors. And at this point is the time to understand where your game is different, what do you like about other games, and what things you can improve compared to other games that are there, and also if there was any missing point where you think that your game is gonna cover it. This is more like to spend time on after you analyze all this information. You're gonna have some time and try to regroup and, let's say, have a summary of all this information you have found. And that's ideally, when you have this summary, that's what's gonna help you take more detailed choice on how to move forward with your game. Even understanding if your game is worth doing at all, as you mentioned before. You're not sure if you want to do a game similar to Clash. Let's say you have a free-to-play game, Clash of Clans, or sorry, I don't remember it. So when you have analyzed all the different games that are there, you can say, okay, there seems to be a place in the market. I believe the reason why I'm giving the value to player is really valuable, so I can move forward. At least you already know if you go well, how well you can go, and if you go bad, where to stop and understand, no, that's not something I'm willing to keep doing because it's not performing as I wanted. Any question? Okay, so that's how I've been doing market research in the past years. And now, tools you can use, feel free to take screenshot. They want like Steam Spy, Steam Chart, and VGI Insight have some price. Like they offer paid plan for around 20 or 10 euros monthly. If I have to choose one, I will go with VG Insight. Seems to be the most complete, price-wise, a bit pricier, but combine all this information you can find on Spy Chart and Steam Spy. Sorry, Steam Chart and Steam Spy. Then also these are some blogs I really advise you read if you want to get more into marketing research and also be up to date with data trend and how the game market is performing based on different type of genres. Any question? Okay. Now I'm going to show you a small case study. Ideally, this is when I do market research. At the end, this is a light way of what something I would expect to deliver to the person I'm working with to understand what's outside. Let's say this is our game idea. This part of presentation was done way before Data Diver existed, so bear with me with the idea. So ideally, I want to create a farming game with where my value is that I will be able to farm directly at the bottom of the ocean. I identify my competitors. I'm looking at different farming games that are out there. We have Stardew Valley, Coral Island, and tons other. For the sake of this presentation, I'm just going to focus on Stardew Valley. So what type of game they have? They have a farming simulator, multiplayer type of game. I will be looking at the price. So they market all around different consoles at $14.99, and also look at the number of players they have. Looking at players, I also will look at what was the peak and how is the lowest to understand ideally the revenue I could have from it. Then I look at their positioning. So is the game played by both gender? It doesn't seem to have any particular difference in age of the user. Mostly casual gamer, completionist, specializer, and exploration enthusiasts are the users that tend to play this game, and they are available on almost every channel. After, I will evaluate the online presence, social media engagement, so they have official website, they are active on Twitter, Facebook, they have a Reddit community, also have a Steam community, official forum, and Discord channel. I analyzed their tone of voice, understood they tend to communicate in a warm, nostalgic, and wholesome type of way. Then I will also look like how often do they communicate to their user and what type of communication they do. In this case, just for the sake of example, let's say it's once per week. And also the customer review usually is around 4.5 out of 5 star. Then at this point, I know all the previous information and I'm gonna look at their strength. So ideally, if I do a game that's gonna have a really immersive gameplay, has to be better than one of, like, for example, Stardew Valley. So immersive gameplay, freedom, and exploration, and also create a deep relationship between character. Then, at this point, look at the weakness. Could be lack of clear objective, slow pace, and time management. User seems to complain about all these elements first. Then, looking at their unique selling proposition is a game with a nostalgic and charming atmosphere. You have a lot of freedom of choice, and you can customize a lot, and also you have a really strong community support. At this point, I know ideally everything about Stardew Valley, and I can identify all the improvement and differentiation my game is going to bring. We could be a unique setting and atmosphere, innovative farming mechanic, and ability to explore and have adventure underwater, and so on. Now you all know how to do market research and how ideally a market research will look like. So thank you all for participating. And now if you have any more questions, is the time. Yes.
So that test case, how would you apply it to, if you want to make a sports game, sports simulation game? For example, a hunting game. How would you apply those test cases? So you first do analyze the competence?
Yes. Yes, first of all, I will look, sorry.
Yeah, other game, but should you focus on how they have sold other indie games? Because also in sports simulation, the very big industries like the 2K, the EA, they have the previously called FIFA, the NBA, they are like on another level. So would you analyze those companies or just like only indie games?
I will at least analyze one big company to understand what they are doing, to know what ideally, if everything goes super well, I can do as well. Of course, maybe you're not going to have the same graphic or resources they have. However, that doesn't mean that you can actually bring something, you can find some weaknesses in their game. And that's where the niche of your player is going to be. So yes, always look also at the big beast around there. It doesn't, we can always learn from them. So that's more about learning. It's more like about a learning exercise that's going to provide you information that's going to help you make decision easier and better when you're going to then create a plan for your game and decide how your game is going to be marketed. No worries. Any other question? Yes?
How often would you update your information? Like, if you're starting a game, you can do market research at the beginning, and then would you do it when you're launching, or would you do it every month?
You want a fake answer or what I do every day? You never stop doing market research, ideally. It depends on the type of game, of course, but for example, if you, as was mentioned, if you do a chapter game, so it's going to be launched during different time, you have to look what's going around all the different time you're launching a new game. If you just launch a game once and then you have DLC, you have to understand what other game have went out while before you launch your DLC. So you never stop doing it. As you keep doing it, it becomes easier and faster because you already know how to do it and you know where to look for information. The first one's gonna be a pain. I'm really sorry, but then you get better. So sadly, there's never an end. Excel is a good tool. Yes, mostly Excel. Yeah, Excel is the best one because you can use like paid tool that allow you to have more information about all the marketing thread and everything. But I'm not sure. Like before launching the game, they are not really needed because it's just resources that you could spend in other places. But then, if, for example, you want to create a game, a free-to-play game, as was mentioned before, having this type of tool can really help you because it allows you to track how the game is performing. Otherwise, you have to combine all the different reports you get from like Steam or PlayStation or all the places you're looking at your game, like you're selling your game, and then yes, Excel is the best one. Yes.
So when you're research and come up with some spot that can feel that nobody did this kind of video, this camera or whatever, and then while in mid-development, someone comes up with an idea that's feeling the same spot that you, and they're launching much earlier than you. What would you advise if you know any examples or just your opinion on what to do, doubling down on your unique selling point or trying to turn slightly to somewhere else? Or?
That's a really good question. I don't think there's one answer for all. It depends case by case, sadly. But ideally, as you already did the market research, you have a point, a threshold point when you know, okay, that's when I see that's going to be really bad. So ideally, if you analyze their game and see, okay, they're really the exact copy of mine, is it still, it's more like also the choice of you and your team to say, no, we really believe in our game. We think like our mechanic is super strong. We will keep going forward, but you know there's someone else there that has something similar. So ideally, you will start marketing yourself a bit differently to stand out of what's already, like what went out, let's say 2 weeks after you decided to create your game. So it's never an easy choice. It's more, I would say do it if you have the possibility, because you never know. No worries. Any other question? Okay, then if you want to reach out to me, those are my contacts. So don't hesitate to contact or even stop me in the around if you need any more support or help. And thank you all for your time today.